Welcome back to Sprague Homestead. I'm Nikki, and here's your question of the week on Mailbag Monday. So this week's question is all about storing feed, and that is the question, how do we store our feed? So if you've been around, you know that we talk about in videos that a lot of times we buy our feed by the pallet. It gets the price down, and because we have to drive 35 miles each way to go get feed, it keeps our trips to town and buying feed kind of at a minimum. How we store feed kind of depends a little bit on where it's going to be at. So we have our working cans, which are metal cans for the most part, galvanized garbage cans in all of the buildings. Those will hold 3 to 3.5 bags of feed if they're 50 pounders, usually about 4 bags if they're 40s. And we keep several of those in each building. Now, this last year in 2021, we had a really hard time finding the metal trash cans for a couple of the buildings. So we did use some of the heavy duty brute garbage, plastic garbage cans, and those seem to be working really well. I would not recommend the thinner ones. Growing up, my mom used to occasionally use the plastic trash cans, and you'd get squirrels and mice and rats and all kinds of stuff that would dig into them. So probably not a good deal. But we use the metal trash cans with a good firm fitting lid, and that's what we do for, a good portion of the feed. Now for the rest of it, because of course we buy enough that we can't put everything in the individual buildings, it would take up too much space. The rest of it gets stored just on the pallet, shrink wrapped, and it goes straight out to the barn. It goes into the hay area. We've been lucky enough that we've got enough barn cats that nothing gets into it. The cats know not to mess with the pallets of feed, and we aren't getting any vermin in there at all, because if you had to deal with 6 feral cats, more or less feral cats, you wouldn't want to go in there either. Now, the big thing about buying feed in bulk, because this was another question that we had, is how long can you buy feed for? In ideal perfect conditions, which most manufacturers say is 60 to 65 degrees, and that's temperature controlled, 60 to 65 degrees, no fluctuations. Most feed will go 5 and 6 months. Now, I don't know about you, but no, I don't live in an area like that. We count on about 4 months in the winter, and we try not to buy any more than like 2.5, 3 months in the summer. The temperature up and down just kind of messes with the nutrients and just shortens the shelf life. The big thing when you're storing feed is keep it out of the sun, keep it out of the rain, keep the humidity down. So we, when we lived down south in Mississippi, really had to be careful with the humidity level in your feed cans. Any humidity at all and everything would turn to mold. So sometimes, like in the heat of the summer, like July and August, I never could get anything to store down there for more than about 30 days. Just couldn't do it. It was just too high of humidity. In the winter, because you didn't have that heat with the humidity, we could get 3 months. Now that's mostly going to be for your chicken feed and your rabbit feed. You're probably going to get the same thing out of goat feed. The only thing that I really stress to people not to try and store, regardless of temperature, for more than 3 months is dog food. The fats in dog food go rancid really, really quick. Unless you can, put it in some kind of airtight, maybe like Mylar bag, I would not try and keep dog food for very long. It just gets gross. I mean, it smells gross. The fats go rancid really quick. And also watch straight corn. Not so much cob or some of the other stuff, but corn by itself, it does not take much moisture to make the whole thing go moldy. All right, so there you go. There's your question of the week about how we store feed. If you've got other questions, feel free to send them to us via email, Facebook Messenger. We're pretty much around everywhere. Or you can post them down in the comments and we will write them in our little magic book and try and get a video on them later. Lots of new interesting stuff coming soon. I'm going to leave you with that little cliffhanger there. And happy homesteading. We'll see you next time.